What we need in the United States is not division, violence, and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another, and a feeling of justice toward those who still suffer.
Let me just say this. The tradition of great performers from, and I really want you to hear what I have to say. The tradition of great performers from Sammy Davis Jr. to James Brown to Jackie Wilson to Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly. The story is usually the same though. You know, these guys work really hard at their craft, but the story ends the same. They usually are broken, torn, and usually just sad, and the story is very sad in the end because the companies take advantage of them. They really do. And Sony, being the artist that I am at Sony, I've generated several $1 billion for Sony, several billion, and they really thought that my mind is always on music and dancing, and it usually is, but they never thought that this performer myself would outthink them. So we can't let them get away with what they're trying to do, because now I'm a free agent. I just owe Sony one more album. It's just a box set, really. It's with 2 new songs, which I've written ages ago. So I'm leaving Sony a free agent. Owning half of Sony. So I own half of Sony's publishing, and I'm leaving them, and they're very angry at me because of it, but I just did good business, you know.
Can you feel this? See how heavy that is? It's in alphabetical order. Huh? Turn first page. See the A's, then the B's, then the C's? How many pages is that?
22 pages.
This is a 22-page document of all the acts he owned in alphabetical order. And what do the headlines say? Michael owns 50% of Sony. Huh? That old Beatles stuff, that's chump change. What's that headline say?
List of Sony/ATV music publishing artists.
Read the first sentence.
Sony/AT Music Publishing is a music publishing company co-owned by the estate of Michael Jackson and Sony.
Michael owns 50% of all country western music. He owns 63% of Dolly Parton. Huh? He owns 50% of Charlie Pride. He owns 50% of Bob Dylan. Huh? He owns 50% Moon River. 50% of that song's his. Huh? You see, look, just read them some of the names in it. He owns Babyface. Who is that?
Beyonce Knowles.
Huh? M&M's. Huh? it goes on and on and on. You see any others there you recognize?
Boys to Men, Bon Jovi, Brenda Lee, Brian Harvey, Brian West, Brick and Lace, Bright Eyes, Brooks and Dunn.
And it goes on and on and on. That's just the bees. And if all this was sold today, the estate would probably get between 40 and 50 billion dollars. Huh?
Michael Jackson's estate announced Monday that it has agreed to sell its remaining stake in a lucrative music catalog to Sony Corp for $750 million. The agreement for Jackson's half share of the Sony ATV music publishing catalog will give the company sole ownership of works by the Beatles, Bob Dylan, and other hit-making musicians, including Eminem and Taylor Swift. The deal is another posthumous blockbuster deal for Jackson, whose estate has erased the singer's massive debts through a mixture of new music and movie ventures and re-releases of the singer's most popular music. Jackson's estate benefits his mother and 3 children, known as Prince, Paris, and Blanket. Sony Corp President Kazuo Hirai wrote in a statement, "This agreement further demonstrates Sony's commitment to the entertainment business and our firm belief that these businesses will continue to contribute to our success for years to come."
What's going on with the Havenhurst property? You know, it seems like someone secretly filed documents to try to take hold of the property.
Well, I'll tell you what, I really don't know, but I know the property belongs to my mother.
Really?
Hands down, it belongs to my mother, and Mike would never leave anything to anybody else but my mother and his siblings. So,
will you be happy to see it back in the family?
Absolutely, everything.
That's home to you guys, right?
The catalog was never supposed to be sold.
Because the estate seems to think, you know, the estate owns the property, and there was a...
The estate works for my mother.
Yeah.
They work for my mother.
Okay.
Okay, at the end of the day, their job is to do what my mother wants.
Yeah.
And
do you think they've done a good enough job protecting it?
I don't think so.
It seems
really
to be like
don't
there's
think
an ongoing conflict between them two.
Because they're not looking out for my mother's best interest for Michael's will. They're looking out for other things that I won't say.
You know, the weird thing about it, it says the deed was granted by Michael and signed by Michael, which is impossible. So who do you think is behind all this?
Well, you know. It's not us. Listen, we created this success. We created all of this. Why do we have to fight to get back what was ours? It doesn't make sense.
What would you say to the suggestion that maybe there's been some kind of chicanery with the paperwork, and maybe kind of you guys are trying to get one over at the estate?
I'll just say this. Michael's last name is Jackson. So is my mother, so is mine, and everybody else. It belongs to the family.
Now I gotta ask you, do you think Catherine was behind this? Because she did sign an attached document.
My mother, if she has to go out of her way to get back something that is rightfully hers, that means somebody did some wrongdoing.
Okay.
Thank you, Jermaine.
Thanks, Jermaine.
The catalog was never supposed to be sold. The catalog was never supposed to be sold.
Because the weird thing about it, it says the deed was granted by Michael and signed by Michael, which is impossible. So who do you think is behind all this?
Well, you know. It's not us. Well, you know. Well, you know.
So long, to carry on.